Hey, it's your boy Jose from Big Meat Sports. How are you guys doing on this lovely, lovely Monday where Monday Night Football is going on? Today, we have Roberto, the one that missed out on our little podcast, our fantasy football podcast earlier. I believe it was, what was it, 3 or 4 weeks ago that this happened when Omar and Chris Aguirre was on, and you didn't have the time at that time, but you have time today. I know that the caption does say FSU college football is out of the college football. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But Roberto, so let's talk about that trade and how it ended up, and what got you angry, and why you feel that you got robbed in this trade.
Que voila. Yeah, I mean, I kind of felt like I got robbed. I mean, the trade was kind of in favor for me, but like everything went down for me to get that trade. Like you accepted it. It was down to the last couple of hours that it was going to pass through. And then all of a sudden, it was just canceled by Omar. And I was like, what
Yeah.
I'm like, how is that possible? Like, then the chat went off. Everyone started talking about it. And then we actually gave everyone a second time, like a second chance to veto it. And it still didn't get vetoed. And it still didn't go through. So I was like, whatever.
So do you think the veto is when somebody vetoes a trade? Do you think it's, or the veto itself when somebody makes a trade? Do you think that's fair?
I personally, trades, you can make whatever trade you want. Like it could be a shitty trade, it could be a fair trade. A trade's going to be a trade, and we have that option to veto it, and that's why that's there, so we can, you know, vote on it essentially. So I felt like we all had that chance, and it was supposed to be accepted, but hey, whatever, it didn't get accepted. Obviously, Thielen didn't pan out after that trade, so
And I think
it kind of
I think it worked out.
it worked
For you
out pretty
too.
good. So
because I keep on putting in my starting lineup, and he's giving me like 4 points and stuff like that.
yeah,
Do you think that it was some hatred towards the people in the top that's in the either second or third place?
oh, for sure,
At the
everyone's hating on
time,
top.
because at the time I was bottom of the list, and people thought I was trying to, give away my team and let you win. But what I saw at that current moment was that this I saw a running back there, and I forgot what running back you gave.
It was Warren and Hunt, Kareem Hunt, which Warren would have got you a decent couple of weeks there.
Yeah.
It not like, I don't know about recently now, but he had like a 20-point game at some point, and he was scoring touchdowns. He was neck and neck with Najee Harris, so it wasn't a bad trade. Like if you look at it, because you didn't need running backs, and I mean, it would have probably worked out better for you than it would have for me.
But I looked at your squad, and first of all, and again, I'll admit, this trade, when I looked at it, I was probably running on like 2 or 3 hours of sleep. I just saw that I needed running backs. I think that's why I accepted it. I don't know if you can see this.
I see them.
Yeah. So
I see them.
So that's why I think I didn't really think about it. But when I looked at your team, I'm like, damn, I'm thinking I'm getting the shaft over here. So it was,
you were at the time, you were getting the shaft in that trade,
and I didn't really look at it, and I thought I was getting another running back. I didn't look at it as Warren, and when I in totality, when I look at it, I was like, damn, I got Najee Harris. I know I had 2 Pittsburgh Steelers, so it's just mind-boggling to me that what got me a little bit upset about the whole thing was Coco and Kylie was doing some suspect trades, and we got our
I can't really. I can't.
Right,
oh, hold on.
Yo,
Yeah, that's right. We're here.
I see you, my
Okay,
boy.
okay. I think Frankie wanted a link there too, though. So I don't know. Maybe
Yeah,
we get Frankie in this right now. We could talk a little smack.
yeah.
Let
I don't know if
You
anybody
are
heard that in
playing
the
Frankie
background.
this week too.
Yeah, I'm trying to send him the link. He didn't. He hasn't. Oh, there he goes. I gotta
Look
send
at the
him.
rat chiming in here.
Yeah.
He wants to
I'm
know.
on the way.
Okay,
He wants
Stella.
to know what's Justin Jefferson's trade value right now. What's your opinion on that, JJ?
Justin. Oh, that
From one
mean.
JJ to another JJ, what's
Wait.
JJ's trade value?
Let me get Frankie on this chat.
Que
Frankie
hola,
711.
Chris. This committed commissioner. I like that. I wish you would have done something
Can you hear
more a couple of weeks ago. Huh? Yeah, I can hear you.
I'm
So
Okay,
driving.
Adrian's saying that the trade was a little stinky. I don't know. I can't remember that trade, to be honest. I don't know. You're gonna have to remind me what it was.
can you hear us, Chris?
I can hear you. I'm sorry I'm joining in late. I'm on my way home from work. But
No,
what are we talking about right now?
we're talking about, since we didn't get Roberto on the first time, we're getting his view of what happened during that trade, or the non-trade, the veto trade that happened approximately 4 or 5 weeks ago.
Yeah, Rob tends to live in the past, so I understand why he wants to talk about that.
No, I mean, I'll talk about it because I missed the original podcast, and I told you that I would rejoin and talk about it if you like. So that's what I'm doing.
So, being on top, Roberto,
Let
on
me ask.
fantasy football, do you think that you know how your feeling on getting to the championship game, has it increased or decreased throughout the season?
Um, it definitely has increased. I think obviously I think I'm gonna win the league.
Ooh,
Um,
okay.
but I honestly do like this is the best chance I've ever had. So, you know,
So
things
this
are
is why
looking
you
good.
made it a big deal. You made a
Possibly,
stink.
yeah, possibly. I thought I had one. I thought I had a good trade there for me that was going to benefit me, and I was like, man, this is going to seal you know, my victory here with this trade. But didn't happen.
Well, how many weeks have you been in the number one spot?
The last 5 or 6 weeks. I know Omar was
Yeah,
there at some point in earlier, but I can't really tell you. I've been
I
there for
know.
the most of the point.
I was talking to Frank about it. How difficult it is in fantasy football to to be number one and go and finish the league and win out. Like it's very hard to like. It's very rare that the number one seed, that's number one all season long, wins out the
True.
league. And you have the team to do it, but it's tough, man. It's tough because you know.
It depends, and it could be many different factors. It could be, if you have good players on good teams, and then it comes down to like the championship game, and they start benching their players, because they don't
Yeah,
want them hurt. They secured the bye week or whatever it is. Anything could happen.
On.
But I think that my team right now is consistently putting up high points. I think this week would be the fourth week that I get. What up, Frank? This week will be the fourth week that I get highest points. You know, so I mean, the
I'm
odds
trying
are
to
in my
see.
favor,
There you go.
but you never know. Anything could happen.
well,
Okay, I'm
it's
sorry.
good. I'm glad we got Frank on the chat, and we're talking about fantasy football and that trade because what since we won, you were really upset, the whole trade situation. But I guess let me ask you this, Rob: do you think it's fair to try to make a trade in one league by making a trade in another league? Like, is that legal?
Oh,
Like, is
whoa,
that
whoa.
something that like?
Um,
You know,
It's definitely nothing's illegal. What are you talking about? I don't understand where you're getting here.
I'm trying.
Can you please
This
making a trade in one league? Are you
this
talking
sounds
about
this sounds
your
personal. Whoa.
are you talking about your regulation league here? I don't know what you're talking about here.
what I'm asking is, do you think it's fair for you to try to make a trade in one league by offering players in a completely different league that has nothing to do with this league?
Do I
I
think
think I
that's
jumped
fair?
at the wrong time.
Absolutely not. That's not fair at all. I don't know what you're talking about though.
So you would never throw in like, hey, give me a chain in this league, and I'll
Ooh.
give you a chain in that league. That we are.
Whoa.
Oh, whoa.
Whoa. Wait.
Whoa.
What's going
What's
on
going on
here?
here?
Wow,
Yeah, I
this
don't
is
know.
Oh,
sketchy.
This
hey,
is
wow.
interesting.
This is getting
Really
interesting. Wait,
interesting.
is this like side like text
Is it
messages going on? And
is someone throwing drama in our league right now? What's going on?
I feel like it. I feel like there's
Throwing
going
drama
drama.
on the podcast right now.
Well, yeah, I mean,
I
this
I
is pretty
feel
good stuff. Pretty good stuff here.
because he brought this up when Frankie caught on. So I don't know if it. I mean, is that something, Frank? You wanna talk about it? Can you hear
First,
me,
I want to
Frank?
know how to use the. Yeah, well, I want to learn how to use the microphone first. So,
Oh, okay.
I'd like to say, I don't know what Chris is talking about, and as I'm on here, I would just like to say, the leagues went a lot better when Omar was the commissioner, and we didn't
Oh
have these
man.
dramas going on. You know, we didn't have all these things that were kind of like, is this in the rules? Is it not in the rules? Now it's a big
It's
bureaucracy.
I
this
mean,
league. I would say
think,
this league is in shambles right now.
I don't think so. I think Chris has been doing a great job. And just the wording on his messages, I feel like, important. When he says something, I just feel like it's directed towards me. Like, it's just not like original text. I just feel like he's doing a good job, guys. You got to give him credit.
All right, JJ, that's cool. I mean, I respect that. It's like you respect what the commissioner has done, right?
Yeah.
And you respect the authority of the commissioner, right?
Correct.
I'm just gonna say this, guys.
But
If somebody offered
wait.
me a trade in another league, and then offered me another trade in another league, I might make that trade right now.
Oh wow.
I would be interested if that was a possibility. Not saying that it is.
But why
Now,
isn't trades are supposed to be like stopped after like week 10 or something like that?
Well, this is a no holds bar league right now. I mean, Chris is running it. Anything goes down here now,
Yeah, including Roberto.
but JJ, to get back to you on that question, that you think Chris is doing a good job, and when he sends you a text to accept the trade because it passed through, but you never accepted it afterwards. I don't know.
We had
I don't know.
talk about that.
To me, that's rules. He's giving you some rules, to follow. It looks like JJ's a rule breaker here.
And we have Adrian on commenting in. Come on, I have some ice cream on JJ podcast. No tough questions. Oh man, see, it's a tough crowd today. It's a tough crowd. So look, the reason why I did this podcast today, and thank God Frankie's on today, and we have we have a Canes, well, two Canes fans and a Gator fan. Let's talk about this FSU and not being in the college football playoffs. What is your thoughts about it being non-FSU fans or being from the state of Florida, being our rivals, both of you guys? What is your thoughts of FSU not making the playoffs? Frankie, you go first.
First of all, I'd like to say congratulations to Florida State on being the first Power 5 team to not make the playoffs after being undefeated. That is very hard to do. You got to have a softball schedule in order to do that, right? Like, that doesn't just happen unless you're playing a bunch of Nancy nobodies. And then Florida Gators, which are just, look, I'll take it on the chin, right?
Uh-huh.
The Gators were bad this year. The Gators have been bad for a long time, but at least we didn't go undefeated and not make the playoffs. Am I right? I mean,
okay, so
Jesus.
we beat you with a backup quarterback that had, probably 20 reps throughout the year. And this guy is probably as skinny as you, and we still beat you in your home stadium. Just want to point that out to you. Okay. My thing is, and I want to say that this committee loves the SEC. Okay. And
Who
I don't know
doesn't?
why, because yes, they do. Because there's no reason that Alabama should be above Florida State. Okay. What have they done? Okay. SEC this year is ACC is 6-4 versus the SEC. Why aren't the ACC getting some type of like respect here?
Let's just stop right there, okay? The Florida Gators dismantled the University of Kentucky this year, right? And then Kentucky goes on to beat Louisville, and then Louisville loses to Florida State. So, I mean, if you ask me, the SEC can hang with anyone on any given day, right? The question is,
Okay.
does Florida State deserve to be in? And
I
if you
think they
ask
deserve.
me,
What have you been taught? What have you been taught growing up? Okay, growing up as playing sports. What have you been taught? If you go undefeated, you deserve to go to the playoffs and compete. Okay, you've been taught that, correct? So
talk to Boise State,
okay,
talk to Kellen Moore.
okay, but let's be serious. Do you think that the reason why they kept FSU out was because TCU got blown out by Georgia last year?
I think it plays into it, right? Like the fact that TCU could not handle themselves in last year's national championship definitely plays into that. Absolutely. I mean, you don't get here without TCU blowing that up. But I think the real thing is that Alabama beat a two-time national championship team that hadn't lost in 29 games. So when you look at what Alabama did, beating that team, it's hard to say Alabama doesn't get in. And then you look at Texas and you see Texas's resume and all the teams that they beat. It's hard to say Texas doesn't get in.
So Alabama lost to Texas, and they needed a miracle to beat South Carolina. Correct? A miracle, which South Carolina ended up losing to New Mexico State or something like that. So I just don't get, why is everybody in love with Alabama? I just believe that it's all about money, because having Nick Saban out of the playoffs, it's not enticing to the networks, and having him out and having Norvell in. That's just my take. Chris, what is your take on this whole thing? Which you have a lovely puppy there. And Chris first.
Yeah.
Okay.
Am I back?
Nope.
We can hear you, but your video's not.
Let me say this. This all could have been avoided had Miami done their job and beat Florida State. This could all have been avoided.
Hey, look. Miami, look, and I don't think Miami, okay, look. When I talk when we're going to talk about Miami right now, and I think Miami is one quarterback away. Can we agree with that? Miami has a team that has what did it say?
Frankie, I think that Frankie said it nicely earlier, not here, but in another conversation. He said 2025 is going to be interesting, UF versus Miami. I think they're doing some good things. Cristobal's got some things he needs to fix with that offense, but I think 2 years out, Miami has something on the table. But right now, what, Frankie?
Let me ask you something, JJ. You said Miami's one quarterback away. What does that mean? One quarterback away from missing the playoffs? I mean,
I think
right?
they're being, I would say, one quarterback away of being in the conversation. I would say a top 10 team. because you have a good running back, you have a solid offensive line. I want to say their offensive line is solid. A defense that's always there. You can say that quarterback situation has been, I don't I don't even know what happened to Van Dyke. Van Dyke was like,
Going
started off hot.
they're going into the season, his name was being brought up. Absolutely, he's now in the transfer portal. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Do you think who? Okay, so like in as a quarterback. All right, so I'm guessing you're glad that Van Dyke is gone because I think Van Dyke had so many chances that there's he was holding back that team.
I'm not gonna say Van Dyke. I put a lot of the blame this season on Cristobal. I think there were some wins that he left on the table, and there were just mistakes he made in the game. Clock management, just decisions that like could have changed. There's at least 2 games off the top of my head I can think of that I don't blame Van Dyke. I blame Cristobal and the coaching.
Mhm.
And I think it happens a lot with Miami. It's preparation. Like they just don't look like the team that I watched growing up. Like where it's just next man up, dominates, and there's constant competition. Like stupid penalties, dumb plays, bad clock management. It's not the Miami that I want to see. So Van Dyke, I don't blame him as much as I blame the coaching staff this year. So
Okay. And in the transfer portal, what would you want to see come in after? Because I don't know what your situation is right now, but I feel like you have a solid running back, you have speed at the wide receiver position, so defense is a solid defense. Not I won't say not a great defense, but what is your main objective right now in the transfer portal is to get a good quarterback.
yeah, I mean, I think a good quarterback changes any team, right? I mean, like that's a no-brainer. But who was it that earlier this week they were saying a good college quarterback costs $1 million now in the NIL?
Oh yeah, I heard that. The Nebraska coach, I believe it was.
So it's tough. It's tough now with the NIL. It's advertisement. It's deals. It's which boosters are going to be able to put the most money up. It's different, but look, at the end of the day, Miami's been in the ACC for how long, and what have they done with it? Nothing.
Mhm.
Um, and that's frustrating. Um, and look, I'll tell you this: I didn't get a chance to say what I wanted to say about FSU. As a Hurricane fan, I'm glad you guys got suckered, but the truth is, I thought it was tough to leave you out. Um, I don't think it's fair that an undefeated Power Five team, with a championship win under their belt. I mean, you beat LSU early. You won. Whether you have a good whether you have a starting quarterback or not. I know Jordan Travis, went out for the season, but is it the same team? No, but that defense is. I watched that defense all season. You guys are solid. Like, and it sucks. It sucks to see you guys get left out. But I don't think that the committee was wrong either. Like, it's
Mhm.
tough because those are the 4 best teams right now, man. What would have been nice would have been, had we had that 16 playoff because, it's going to be good to see, right? It's Georgia now. It's Georgia, Florida State in the Orange Bowl.
Correct. Yeah.
That's gonna be a good game. I want to see. I would really like to see Florida State make a statement and just defense lock it down. But it's tough, man. What's your backup quarterback? The one on concussion, Rodinger,
Rodemaker.
Rodemaker. He Rodemaker play.
Hey, look, and he did solid. He did solid versus the Gators, but he got knocked out, which was a stupid play for the Florida Gators. Which you guys got thugs over there on defensive side. I just want to say that.
Thugs wins
Um,
national championships. Ask Miami Hurricanes about that.
Ain't wrong. Ain't wrong.
oh man, but
Ask Notre Dame about that.
so we're talking about the committee made it a point that Jordan Travis was their biggest takeaway of making that decision. So why isn't Jordan Travis should be Heisman then, right? Because it's most valuable player. We're
Yeah,
saying
but
we're saying most valuable player. So why is he being considered as a Heisman? Because he's that valuable to the team that they're not even putting him in the college playoff.
Interesting.
what I would say is Jordan Travis should have been a finalist, especially after this the season that they had with him, right? But to say that like Michael Penix shouldn't be the winner right now if he goes on to win it, which we assume he will. I mean, he has been the most valuable team with the schedule that Washington played.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like, not to take anything away from Florida State, but the schedule that Washington played, the comebacks that Washington has had, I just can't like not see Michael Penix winning it. And if he doesn't win it,
Okay.
again, NCAA has got some bigger issues, right?
Rob, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Oh, okay.
College football is not my forte here, but I think I do think that Florida State was unfairly kicked out, and I believe that Chris might have something to do with it, being an unfair commissioner. So
What I want to know is if Florida State beats Georgia, does Florida State do the UCF thing and just declare themselves national champions, right?
I mean, I would.
Why not? I'd go for
why
it.
not? I
Yeah.
mean, it's a Florida thing. You can declare yourself national champions if you want.
I think
They go to the Capitol. DeSantis shakes their hand, takes a picture. I love it.
I think it sucks. I think it sucks you guys left out. I don't think Florida. This is what I think. I don't think Florida State should have dropped. They were already at 4, so to get bumped back after winning that game is
they needed to beat Louisville, but they needed to whoop Louisville's ass to make a statement, and that would probably help their chances of being in the top 4.
The thing is
that
Glenn was just he's a freshman quarterback that got the nod game time decision.
I understand that, but
and he still went out there. He didn't turn over the ball, and our defense knew that they had to step up, and they did. That's why defense wins games. I think that we are more competitive playing. We can hang with Michigan now. Score as many points. I think it'll be a competitive game. But you really look at it, FSU should be 3. They should be playing Washington. So that to me, where would you put FSU if you would have got in there? I think it's either 3 or 4. I don't know why people loving Texas. Texas hasn't been this. Wait, when's the last time Texas has been relevant? Since they won a national championship?
hasn't been relevant since they were your MySpace page background.
See, and I knew when I started talking about Texas, I knew you're going to bring that up.
At least JJ has one team in there, right?
Yeah. Look, I like Texas baseball. Roger Clemens came from there. One of my favorite pitchers. So, okay.
Well, Chris is a Texas fan now.
So, but look, I love how Frankie keeps on talking about the ACC and their schedule. But at the time, there was maybe 5 to 6 teams in the top 25. So why is it that we keep on getting discredited for being a good conference?
Yeah, go ahead, Frank.
I think the word good is a stretch, right? I mean, the best team in the ACC for the last 7 years is Clemson. And Clemson has looked god-awful, since they've lost their quarterback, and this kid Cade has just been a big-time bust, right? So, like, all these teams in the ACC that were supposed to be really good and be really magical, they've all just been they've been flat. I will say, against the SEC, we've seen the 6-4 record, which has been impressive, but we're talking about, consistency in the conference. And I get it, no one likes hearing it, but we need to see more teams in the ACC be consistent year in, year out.
I don't disagree. I'm not going to say that the SEC is not the have the best teams. It's the cream of the crop. If you're if you're a top recruit, if you're not going to Ohio State or one of these big Notre Dame or one of these big schools, you're going to the SEC. If you want to compete against the best, you're going to the SEC. Like you're absolutely right. But this whole like it's the AC, like if it's not the SEC, it's not good enough. To me, it's not true. Um, Florida State Florida State had a great team. Uh, it's tough, man. Like if it was my team, I'd be pissed, but I still like I'm not mad. Texas is like it could have been any of those teams, man. Alabama's good. Alabama's really good. And
I'll say this: what's the second best team right now in the ACC?
I mean, it's Louisville, right?
Yeah.
You have to say it's Louisville.
And
A
I'm not
team
here
that was
saying that
averaging
the
almost-
SEC. Go ahead.
That what?
What'd you say, Frank?
I'm not going to sit here and say that the SEC was the almighty this year. If you ask me, the most competitive conference this year in college football, hands down, I thought was the Big 12, was the Pac-12, which is going to be, it doesn't exist anymore. But the Pac-12, they had so many teams that were so competitive that if you looked at that conference, it's a shame that it's being disrupted. It's a shame that they're going to the Big 10 and to the Big 12. But the Pac-12 had some of the best teams throughout college football, I thought.
Yeah. It goes. We go to a 16 playoff next year, right? The committee goes to 16.
12, I believe, right?
12. Yeah, 12.
12. Wow. I didn't.
12 team, and I think it's going to be. But are we going to have the same situation with, the 13th or 14 teams?
I
You know
mean,
what I'm saying?
do you even know who the 12th best team is right now? Like, who's ranked 12?
I don't know. Duke, I think.
Yeah, 8 would have been nice. But yeah, it'll be. Look, if anything, it'll make it fun. It'll make it more exciting. So, what does it do to the regular season? I don't know, but it's maybe the committee wanted to leave Florida State out just to get the buzz going. Everybody's talking about it. It's
Yeah. And that's why I think it's more about money. Again, Nick Saban being in the playoffs, I don't think it's quite as a better ring to it than Mike Norvell. You get what I'm saying? So that's why I think, now that you're gonna see a lot of Aflac commercials because Nick Saban's on Aflac, so you're gonna see a lot of Aflac commercials. I just think that look,
I guess Florida State should have got that gap insurance then, huh?
shit. God damn it. Oh, Roberto, that was a good one. I ain't gonna lie. That was pretty good. But I do want to say, like, everybody discredits the ACC. I think the ACC is competitive. We play each other. Look, FSU and
Basketball is an
Miami
amazing sport.
FSU and Miami play each other every year. So somebody's gonna have a loss. Okay. The past 3 seasons, FSU has had those victories. Before that, UM had their victories also. So, and we play each other. We play Clemson every year. We play the Gators every year. So, and what? We've won the past 2 games, I think it is, versus the Gators.
And I'll say this: Florida State has played LSU the past 2 years
and beat them the past 2 years.
And beat them back-to-back years.
It's tough because these games, especially the out-of-conference games, they're decided so far in advance. You don't know who's going to be ranked 3, 4, 5 years out when you're scheduling these games. So, and it's tough. It's tough. Florida State this year was going to play UF. They were going to play. They played LSU. Like, could have been.
Is somebody's dog like humping back there?
Dog.
Drinking water.
Oh, okay. I'm like something. A dog's humping or something.
I apologize. I was wondering why you were making.
Okay, so do you think that how like Miami, Florida State, the Gators? Do you think that they should go away from playing FAMU's, Bethune-Cookman's, and schedule more, SEC teams and Big Ten teams? Do you think that should happen?
I'm pretty sure Alabama almost lost to South Florida this year, right?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, Milrow was like not playing for whatever reason, and like, oh, was he suspended? Was he not suspended? I don't know. No, I think they should play more in-state games with these smaller schools. I think it helps promote football in Florida, right? Like, I think they should be looking at FIU. What was better than watching Miami FIU and FIU beat Miami in a fight, like an actual fist fight, right? Like we want that back, right? Let's get St. Thomas University in here, right?
Oh, St. Thomas, damn.
They
They
almost went to the playoffs, right?
Let's see, I want to see the equipment. I'm all fight brawl, like just equipment manager versus equipment manager. Who wins? That's what let's take it back if you got time, JJ, back to fantasy football so that Rob participate in the conversation.
Go ahead.
Wanted to know what your opinion was, JJ, on, we've been doing this league for a long time. There's been some rumors, some things swirling around about the possibility of, some fantasy leagues and creating one big relegation league. I'm talking 22 teams, 5 teams in, 5 teams out each and every year, big money pot. What do you think about that? Would you be interested in that? Do you think that the league would maybe go in that direction?
All right, so 22 teams. So 22. Like how's this work? Because that waiver wire is slim right now with 12 teams. So like, what are we talking about?
So we're talking, obviously there's the play. You're right. The player pool is way too thin for 22 teams in one league. So it would be 2 fantasy leagues going on at separate times, right? Okay. A 12-person league and a 10-person league. And every year, the top 5 of can move into the 12-person league, and the bottom 5 of the 12-person would drop the following year. What do you think?
I mean, that's interesting. I mean, I've never heard of that before. So like if you get dropped into the bottom, so what happens with like the money situation? You're stuck with that money, or
so there'd be different prize pools, right? So there's a prize pool for the bottom league. The buy-in would be different for each league.
Okay.
It's just if you're in the bottom league, you're not competing for the big money. You're competing for the bottom league. But if you win the bottom league, or if you make it in the playoffs in the bottom league, you move it. You get a chance the following year to play for the big money league. And there's a lot of turnover. It can change every year. 5 people in, 5 people out. Some leagues, some years you're in it, some years you're not.
Oof. I mean, I just feel like you're just trying to get me out of this league. That's just my opinion right there. But
the truth is, we're trying to get Roberto out the league.
Oh, well, not this year.
Well, that's a hot take, bro.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds cool, but then there goes our keeper league. There goes our stats.
It would not be.
Our stats, our history from the Bolo League would be gone. Because you're constantly swapping different players in there, so you can't have a consistent history. I don't know. Yeah. I mean, obviously, if you guys want to go towards that direction and you get enough votes to do it, like, where am I going to go? I'm still going to be in the league. I just prefer to have the Bolo League, traditional fantasy football league, keep that keeper league going. But
yeah,
and on top of that, you got to get a few more people to play. So
yeah. There's rumors that Hector is interested.
Oh, Hector has been part of a couple of fantasy football leagues, and he is on top of it. Even though he's busy with work and all the killings in Miami-Dade and being a homicide detective, but he still has time to set his lineup. And I just want to say, and he has, even though he's an Eagle fan, he has quite a few Cowboys on his team, and a lot of people. This is why it's America's team, because a lot of people have at least one Dallas Cowboy on their team. Just want to let you know.
I have their kicker. You're right.
Yeah. See, hey,
a lot of people. JJ, JJ, as a past winner last year, any advice you could give to Roberto on how to finish the season strong? I mean, he's been like the pace horse all season long. Highly unlikely he goes on to win the whole thing. What do you think he needs
Still
to do?
got
What's
one more
something that
trade in
you
me.
look to do?
Go with your gut feeling because you're gonna have people on the bench that you think that should start that week, and just go with your gut feeling and start
I'm
them
trying to
because
trade him, so I
you're
Playoff,
trying.
don't, so I don't have to think about that.
playoff time is overthink it time. That's what happens.
Yes.
You overthink it because now you're in it, and now it matters.
Yeah, you have to look at the the matchup scenario. Is it raining? Is it you gotta check everything.
I think that's overthinking it.
You got to. I mean, because at the end of the day, you're trying to win however much money is on the pool and stuff like that.
Which we haven't discussed yet.
Hey.
Yeah. Well,
for commissioner.
Isn't that decided before
commissioning.
the season starts?
I think it's decided before the season starts. So I think it's in the bylaws that Omar transferred to Chris. So
A lot of confusion going on in this league. A lot of
I
confusion.
know, Chris. What's going on? We got Jerome Powell here raising interest rates on us, bro. What are you doing here, guys? It's set or is it not set?
so what happened is we raised the buy-in last year,
Yes.
but we split so there was no set prize. And then when we discussed it at the beginning of the year, Gaetan kept sending nudes, so there's no way for anybody to really vote on the payouts.
Well, right now after tonight, Gaetan's going to be in 6th place, so he's going to have to. He's going to be in the playoffs.
That's
bro. Gaetan
That's
and Pablo with the gifts and it's like when you try to catch up to everything, and especially me when I wake up at like 3:00, I'm trying to catch up with all the conversation, and it's just going through like a bunch of Gaetan's nonsense and Pablo's nonsense. So that's fun.
It's a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah.
But it's fun. It is fun.
Yes, but I would say, you know what, when we're gonna end this now, I would say you're doing a fantastic job, Chris, as a commissioner. I don't care what these guys think, so keep on doing the great work. You know, I think you're doing a great job. So
listen, real leaders lead in the face of adversity, and if someone's not mad at you, then you're not. Right.
I'm glad it cut out.
Yeah, it was just horrible.
Oh man, hey, so I just want to thank you guys for tuning in to Big Meat Sport Podcast. Thank you, Roberto, Frankie, and Chris for joining this podcast and giving your take as you Canes fans and Gator fans. Even though, oh wait, Chris, and I got one more question before we go. And what team do you hate the most, FSU or Florida?
What team do I hate the most, or what fan base?
Yeah, you can whatever.
I hate the Gators. There you go.
See,
everyone hates a winner.
And then Frankie, who you hate the most? The Canes? Who would you rather see win? The Canes or the Noles?
I would rather see Alabama.
Oh,
that's good.
Hey, look, most of the Canes people that I've talked to say they hate FSU. They like Florida Gators, and it's baffling to me because I just hate the Florida Gators, and it's like all preppy guys and their khaki pants that they wear like 24/7. I feel like it's khaki and like sandals all day, and I don't know. That's why
the Florida State guys wear the same thing, by the way.
Nah, we don't wear khaki all the time.
Roberto might be wearing khakis right now.
I'm not a Florida State fan. I don't get it.
You're a firefighter.
But
anyways,
yeah. Thank you for having me on, JJ.
I appreciate
Chris,
you guys.
Pay me on time this week.
Ooh, wait,
A little slow on the little 30, little weekly payouts.
Damn. So,
and Frankie,
all right,
HA.
We appreciate you guys for tuning into Big Meat Sports, and we'll catch you on the next episode.
Later, guys.